everyone, this is Abra, and I'm back to give my 2 cents on the Elvis movie, starring Tom Hanks and Austin Butler, with a few caveats, which I will touch on a little bit later in this quick review. So, what did I think about this movie? I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was quite a production. Of course, Baz Luhrmann, he is known for making really showy, over-the-top, everything but the kitchen sink type of films. So the reviews were really good online. Everyone seems to really enjoy it. I did hear some negative reviews on the movie. They just didn't like the direction that the movie went, which I can understand. Baz Luhrmann can be a little overwhelming, and this is not your typical movie. How would I describe this? This is less of a movie and more of an experience. And I think that's what Baz Luhrmann is typically known for. So if you're going in just to try to watch a movie, a biopic about Elvis, I can't say you'd be disappointed because I think you're going to be entertained, but you would be disappointed that it's not your traditional biopic type film. This didn't really feel like a movie about Elvis. It kind of felt like a movie about the idea of Elvis. Like the myth of Elvis. The movie's told from the standpoint of Colonel Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks. As he's narrating the tale of Elvis, he's the one that it almost seems like the story is focused on. I do have a little bit of an issue with Tom Hanks' depiction of Colonel Tom Parker, and I do have a few issues with Tom Hanks and Hollywood in general. But anyway, that's just a whole other thing that's in one of my other videos. Tom Hanks' performance, when I went back to kind of see some footage of Colonel Tom Parker, it's beyond a caricature.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity.
So I did my part, Elvis did his show, and we were lucky. Great talent, we had a great show and a lot of fun.
I don't even know what he was pulling from it. He makes Tom Parker seem like this villain from an old Disney movie trying to gobble up Elvis. A lot of people see him as this villain type character that ripped Elvis off, but in all fairness, we wouldn't have Elvis if it wasn't for Tom Parker. But Hanks' depiction of the Colonel was just kind of over the top and weird. I think you almost have two ends of the spectrum here in this movie. I think Austin Butler deserves an Academy Award for his performance as Elvis, whereas Tom Hanks, dear Lord, I think he deserves a Razzie for his take on Colonel Tom Parker. I don't know how much of that was his influence or Baz Luhrmann's or both, but I don't know. His performance was just out there. So with the movie, it goes very quickly. This goes back to what I'm talking about. It's more of an experience than your traditional movie. The scenes jump very quickly. So it goes from childhood to young adult to him getting started in his career. Well, to him meeting Tom Parker, to him getting his career. It doesn't feel like it has the natural progression of your typical movie. But that being said, I felt entertained the whole time I'm watching it. The musical performances were top-notch. The only thing I would really say is kind of a little jarring is during some of the scenes where they're playing the traditional music or Elvis songs, they'll mix in modern-day hip-hop, and a little strange, but again, that's part of the Baz Luhrmann flair. But the whole time you're going to be sitting in your seat kind of getting into the feel of the music. So back to the caveat that I mentioned earlier when I said this was gonna sort of be an Elvis review. The movie progresses through Elvis's life, and he serves in the military. He comes back and starts making films, and he gets away from what really makes him Elvis, and that's performing, touring, dancing, singing. You'll hear Elvis say several times throughout the movie, if I can't move, I can't sing.
I can't move, I can't sing.
He has to move, he has to get in touch with that, whatever's deep inside of him, in order to just really unleash the full potential of his singing. His career just kind of stagnates. He doesn't make a new album for 7 years. He gets into Hollywood, but his career, it's stagnating. So then his managers kind of get him together away from Tom Parker, and they're trying to figure out, okay, Elvis, where do you want to go from here? And he asks him to be frank. He says, where do you think my career is at right now? They're blunt with him. They're like, it's rock bottom. It's like in the toilet. So right from there, they decide to do something a little bit radical behind Colonel Tom Parker's back. And he's scheduled to perform on TV, and it's supposed to be the traditional Christmas carols that he's been singing lately. Elvis and his other managers and producer Steve Binder, they have a plan. They're gonna try to relaunch Elvis's career, and he's gonna go back to the kind of the old Elvis, but the new polish that will appeal to the younger audiences. Right then, he's getting ready to perform. He gets right up on stage. This is where the caveat comes in that I mentioned earlier. All of a sudden, the lights come on in the theater. Lights are flashing. They end up having a fire drill. So we calmly walk out. They check all the auditoriums in the theater. Okay, you can go back. We go back. They say it'll be a few minutes for the movie to start up again. Wait a minute, and then the lights start flashing again. So unfortunately, I get about halfway through the film and I don't get to finish it. I definitely want to finish the movie, but I still wanted to do this review because based on what I saw, it is entertaining. If you want to beat the summer heat and be entertained for a couple hours, then I can definitely recommend this movie. But go into it knowing that this is, as I mentioned before, more of an experience than a true Elvis biopic. Thank you so much for watching.
Elvis has left the building.